Well, I'm getting out of work, 5 in the morning, and I'm gonna make a video going home. So, I had worked with some people that I haven't worked with yet through the night, and this one woman I was working with really hit it off with her, talking with her. Really, she looked like she might have been 40. I don't know. I'm not good with ages. Really good. Seemed like a good person, but she told me some ghost stories that I'm going to impart to you. And I tell you, and I've told other people, that in my life experience, I don't know this for a fact, obviously, but I think a lot of hauntings come with the area. And Central New York, pretty much all of upstate New York, as far as I can tell, is very spiritually active. And that's nothing new. Like I said a few times before, the American Indians, before the Europeans got here, said this area was highly spiritually active. Another topic as I'm leaving. Across the street from my workplace is the airport that I hope to be flying out of to go to France. And that's why I'm working 7 nights a week. So it's wonderful. God gave me this reminder. The airport's actually this is the end of the runway. You can't tell. The airport itself is a little to the right, but not much. So God gave me this reminder. This is why you're working all this hours. You can't see them, but there's the runway. The end of the runway lights are in front of the car, red and blue. You can see them. They're showing up. Yep, that's the runway. And I'll be hopefully flying out of, heading back over to the old country. And it's raining out. I'd prefer the rain to snow. And they're getting a lot of snow elsewhere in upstate New York. That's what I hear. And I hit a deer yesterday morning. I'll get back to the ghost stories after a little bit of blab. Yesterday morning I hit a deer. Not too much further from where we're at. And thank God I braked real hard. It just come out of the woods. I didn't even see it. Didn't have time, but I braked real hard and just clipped it. I think maybe its foot. Right here, a deer came out, bolted right out in front of me. And I don't think I injured the deer badly, hopefully. And it didn't leave any marks on my car, so I just grazed it. And hopefully, deer might be a little sore, but hopefully the deer's okay. That would make the 5th deer I've hit around here, this area, in a number of years. But driving back and forth to work. Back to the ghost story. And it's like a little after 5 a.m. I'm fairly tired, but really worked hard. Physically. Well, she lives in the countryside around here in a trailer, she was telling me, with her children. And I said, well, I used to live in an old trailer out in the boondocks too, and I told her that place had some character, and she said, uh-huh. I said, I don't know if you believe in this, so I'm digging for a story from her. I said, that place had a lot of like haunting issues, and she said, uh-huh. She said, I know all about those. So there you go. I knew I was going to get some stories. And I said, really? So what happened? Fresh material from somebody else. And I don't think this person would have made this up. Nothing dramatic, but she had a few stories to tell, including one of her deceased sister when she was a child. 3 stories. The first story she told me, actually, she said, was at her mom's house around here, which is a really old house. And she just said that they saw a lot of things there, all sorts of spirits there. And she said, but this most to her, the freakiest part about the haunting of her mom's house was, and I gathered it's a farm. It was an old farmhouse that they still have in their family. They're farmers, her family. She said to her the freakiest thing was that you'd hear like a radio turn on in one of the rooms, but there was no radio in that room. And she said that was, to her, it wasn't the things that she saw. It was just hearing that all of a sudden, radio turn on very loudly in a room where she said there was nothing in there in the room. It was empty. And other members of her family experienced that as well. So that was the first story she told me. The second story she told me happened where she presently lives. And, I didn't dig for details. I usually do. Like, I would have liked to have asked, well, what type of music were they playing? Old music, or was it, what could you, I didn't have really a work, and we didn't have a chance. And I wouldn't ask a total stranger really. I just met her. I don't pry deep. I'll just pry a little bit. So the second story she told me, and she said this one really freaked her out too, was she said that she was on her porch, and I got to get this right, because again, she did not give me a lot of details, and that's part of like being able to tell a story good. Well, is to really put the picture, and I didn't really get a clear picture, which tells me she's not a storyteller. But just the same, she shared this with me. So she's on her porch, and there was a porch, then there was a patio, then there was a workshop brought into this on their property. And she said she was standing on the porch, and suddenly the patio light went out. Then the porch light that she was on went out. And then the workshop light went out. 1, 2, 3. And I gathered she wasn't alone. She said it really freaked us out. But next thing you know, and it apparently wasn't daylight, or wasn't nighttime yet. She said in the sky at that time, they saw when this happened, her and somebody else, she didn't say who, saw in the sky a sooty black form glide down out of the sky and swoop down through their yard and into their workshop, and that's when the lights went out. 1, 2, 3 as it went by. And when it went into the workshop last, the light went out in there. And then they saw it fly out of the workshop, and all the lights came back on. So that was story 2, she told me. And story 3 actually was an endearing one of her. She said of her sister. And I'm just getting what she told me. This is probably about 15, 20 minutes ago. That she didn't know her because her sister died of some illness when she was just a child. Her older sister, that she didn't really get to know well. Yeah. Died well before her, I guess. She didn't know her. Yeah, that adds up, what she told me. Well, she said when she was 5 or 6, and that by this time her older sister had been deceased for a while, I gather. I didn't really get a lot of details. But she told me she came down with strep B, and she was very sick. Very, very sick. To the point where she said that her mother had to really keep an eye on her, and she was putting cold cloths, wet cloths on her forehead and trying to bring the fever down. And she said she must have gotten delirious, because she said she remembered feeling like a cold hand on her forehead. And she said she opened her eyes, and there was a little girl in a white dress looking at her, smiling. And she did something, and I'm sorry I don't remember it, or said something to her, but I don't remember exactly what, because we're leaving. We're just finishing up as the end of shift, so she was trying to hurry and get the story out to me. me and another person that was there. It wasn't just me. This other woman. And she saw a little white girl in a white dress smiling at her. And come to find out, something else happened in the room. When her mother asked her how it happened. I don't remember what it was, I'm sorry. But her mother said, how did this happen in your room? Because you're sick and in bed. And she told her mother, the little girl in the white dress did it. And, she fixed something, did something. And her mother remembered that, but didn't know what to think of it. And then it wasn't but a year or so later, she saw a picture of her deceased older sister. And it was definitely her. It was identical. It was her. And that she had come to her. And I said, that's right. I said, well, our loved ones still love us. They still love us. Even though they passed, they still love us. Even though they're on the other side. And she said, that's right, they do. And that was it. I said, have a good day. Have a good night, whatever. We're night shift workers. So I just wanted to share that. And a little update on my friend that contacted me on Facebook that used to go out, hunting little animals and stuff with me when we were adolescents, that I talked about. Well, I brought it up to him in the chat, and he didn't really have much to say about it. But I know he read it. I know he just said right. He just acknowledged it. And didn't really have much to say about it. And I'm not the sort of person to press people on things. Generally, I don't. So that's that. I probably won't even bring it up again. I don't know. But he acknowledged it, and he didn't really have anything to say about it. So just said we need to get together this coming summer. Hopefully, we can get together, cook out, have a couple of brews, stuff, catch up. So that's where that is. And I gather it's not uncommon for adolescent boys to go through periods like this. I know I'm not the only one amongst my friends, and even one of my commenters here, Charles, had said that he did the same thing as an adolescent, more or less. And so I don't know, why do I share these things, put an emphasis on it? I definitely believe in the spirit world, believe in it, honestly, and I believe in God very strongly. And, let's do the math. We're here temporary. We don't know how much, none of us know, but we're all temporary here, just like our loved ones that have passed, that still love us, I'm convinced. But the next life is eternity, and I do believe in God, honestly, and that He's a just God, and Jesus Christ, I believe in Him in faith and love and reverence as my Lord. So what's more important to me? To be embarrassed about sharing some things about my spiritual walk, to make of it what you will, the good, the bad, the strange. Really. I mean, look at my dear friend Jen, who hasn't been gone but 10 months, trust me, and she's already being forgotten. All her things here, gone. The job she used to have, that I remember seeing her at all the time at the drugstore, somebody else is working there. Everything gone. Her car gone. There's just some old photographs and memories. And that's how it's going to be with me too. Thank God. And you too. And all our pets and all our loved ones. So I share these things because it's where my value is. I definitely believe in the afterlife and ghost as well, which are some kind of strange part of it. And I share those stories. And but I definitely want to, be that person that has God say, well done, when my time comes. That's more important than anything here, anything. then, it doesn't embarrass me to share these things and to give credit to God and glory to God as much as I can. But I just thought I would do some Timblab and share a couple of few spiritual stories, 2 ghost stories, and one where she encountered her deceased sister who was still watching after her and still cared about her. I wouldn't call that a ghost story. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Hauntings, whatever. I'm not even sure how to classify all this. And also update you on that driving video I posted a couple nights ago. So, yeah. I'm going back in tonight. I got to make some money. There's no way around it. If I'm going to do the things I want to do, I've got to earn some money. And here's a diner that I haven't been to. It was Linda's. It's changed hands. And I hope to go there soon. Man. My diet's not the best. All right, folks, take care, and God bless you.